Leah Camacho Ali,
Yes.
former wife of greatest boxer of all time, Muhammad Ali.
Yes.
I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't know who Muhammad Ali was. Here's a picture of you. You had 4 children with Muhammad Ali, correct?
Yes. Yes.
And about what year was that?
I had only 3 then.
Okay. They got another one after that.
I think I was expecting for the little Muhammad. I had the twin girls, Rashida and Jamila, and the oldest daughter, Miriam.
Nice looking family there. You're a beautiful woman, and he was a very handsome man, wasn't he?
Yes, ma'am.
Those must have been some heady times, huh?
I don't marry unattractive
You don't
men.
marry unattractive.
Baby, that's the problem I have with them, too.
So I was reading that you were married in 1967 to Muhammad Ali,
Yes.
correct? But you probably met him before that.
Oh, I met him way before
In
that.
Chicago,
In
right?
Chicago.
Okay. And how did you meet him?
And he was 18 years old.
He was 18.
He was
Oh, my
18.
gosh.
I was 10.
Oh,
And
Okay.
that was our age. And he said that he was going to be heavyweight champion of the world before he's 21. So get your autographs now. And how does this guy know what he's going to be at 21?
oh, I'll tell you how.
So
he knows.
when he gave me his name, he said, "Little girl, here's my autograph." And
Oh, he gave you his autograph?
yeah, and I read it, and I said, "Cassius Marcellus Clay, is that your name?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, did you know Cassius Marcellus is a Roman name?" He said, "What?" I said, "It's a Roman name. Do you know what the Romans did to
So
people?"
this was his given name,
This
Cassius
is
Clay.
Cassius Marcellus Clay. And I
Okay.
said, "Well, do you know what the Romans did to people?"
Yeah.
He said, I said, "It wasn't good." And then you have the last name Clay. That means like dirt, you mold.
Okay.
And you proud of this. He said,
So the first thing you did was tell him you didn't like his name.
exactly.
Okay.
And then I said,
how much later did he change his name?
I said, you got to change your name. I said, you need a respectable name. You need a name of honor. You need matter of fact, just get a Muslim name. You're not going to be famous with this one.
And then how many years later did you start dating?
Well, I didn't start dating at all. He just would come and visit the businesses and the schools. I think the second time I was 13.
You were with him for 10 years. Correct? Married to him for 10 years. So
10
you obviously
years,
knew him
yes.
for much longer than that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had 10 long, wonderful, struggling years.
And you were there for 2 of his most famous fights, the Rumble in the Jungle against George Foreman in Zaire.
I was there for his first fight.
Okay, which one was that?
Because he was exiled. He went through exile.
Because
They took
of his
strip. They stripped
because
him
of
of his
the
title.
draft. Okay,
Yeah, so that was a whole different thing because of not entering into the Vietnam
he didn't
War.
go to Vietnam. And
Yeah.
what was his reason for not going? Religious?
Because of Muslims
Because of you.
and me, yeah. He
So
don't go
was
to-
he actually drafted?
He was drafted once and he failed the test.
What test? Endurance?
No, psychological test.
Psychological.
And then they draft him again. You're not supposed to draft anybody twice.
They drafted him twice?
Yeah.
So is that legal?
No,
Okay.
but you're in a white man's war country. They change whatever they want to do to fit their agenda.
That's unbelievable.
They write the laws. They can break the laws.
But in the end, he did not go to Vietnam.
No, he didn't.
And
he asked me, "Well, I don't want to go to jail."
right.
He was a young man, 21
So he
years
refused to
old.
be inducted
He
into the
refused
U.S.
it.
Army.
I told him, I said, "Look, you have to sacrifice."
But he was immediately stripped of his heavyweight title when he did that. Yeah.
Immediately.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then he was banned from boxing.
Banned from boxing. What's a man going to do? That's all he knows.
That was his life. The reason he wasn't going to go was he said, "I ain't got no quarrel with those Viet Cong."
Right. Because I told him, I explained to him why he shouldn't go. And he said, "What would you do?" I said, "Hell no, I ain't going to go. Clean out my cell, take me to jail without bail. Hell no." And that was his
Statement.
That was his statement after
Okay.
that. Yeah.
And so he was fined $10,000 and he was banned from boxing for 3 years. Evasion of the draft cost him his boxing title, but it was all later overturned by the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Were you scared at the time?
No, I wasn't, because I knew they would come back and get it. Because this is a greedy country, and boxing is one of the biggest money maker there. They ain't gonna pass that up for
Right.
nobody. They'll be back.
And
Trust
he was
me.
already getting famous.
Yes, and so we start. I started helping him go to the colleges, and I wrote some of the speeches for his colleges so he can make a living.
So how long was it then before?
It was 3 years.
3 years.
I was pregnant with the twin girls, and we got a phone call. we was living in Philadelphia at the time, got a phone call, and they said, you got your license.
Oh.
And he was really happy. He said, how did you know I'd get my license back? I said, well, I just know America.
But he never served any jail time for this, right?
Look, sweetheart, they were planning to put him in for 5 years. He went to jail for a traffic stop, a traffic violation. Put him in jail in 2 days. He shook up that jail so much with the black people. They had to literally kick him out. They said, 5 years of this? No way. They dropped all of that.
They got him out of there.
Yeah, he's pretty feisty.
That's another quote of his. He said, "At home, I am a nice guy." Is that true? I mean, I know his
He
persona.
said that? He really said
Here's
that?
the quote: "At home, I am a nice guy, but I don't want the world to know. Humble people, I've found, don't get very far." So I guess what he's saying is the reason he was
But he
always
was
so.
a nice guy. He's always been a nice guy.
Yes, he actually lived in the Fontainebleau.
We actually lived
with
in the
Muhammad
front-
Ali
on the top floor, and Frank Sinatra was on the same floor
Frank
with us.
Sinatra.
I love
You
Frank
lived in the
Sinatra,
Fontainebleau.
literally. And I just felt I know the whole Rat Pack.
They all hang out there?
Yeah, all hang
What year
out
was
there.
this?
This was in the 60s.
Wow, that
And,
must have been fun.
Elvis Presley was when Frank was in the Fontainebleau. Elvis was in the Eden Rock,
right next
with
door.
with the Blossom. Elvis Presley and the Blossoms, and they were over there. So when I would see a show with Frank, then I'd run and go the next day and go see a show
my
with
gosh.
Elvis, and then Elvis would come over and we'd have breakfast in the morning on the rooftop of the
You
Fountain.
told me that Elvis took you shopping at 3 o'clock in
Oh,
the morning.
that was in Vegas back in the
I was
day.
going to say, you can't have a
we,
man.
we was
So-
in Vegas then. He was.
Tell me about your shopping spree with Elvis. Where did he take you?
We went to a big mall in Vegas.
Okay.
Well, Ali and I was sleeping in the bed. Ali was training for a fight in Vegas. Now, one morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, I get a knock on the door, and it's Elvis. And Ali said,
Now, wait a
"Who?"
minute. Let's say that again. You
I
get a
was
knock on the
knocking
door at 3
and it
o'clock in the
was
morning in
3 o'clock
Vegas.
in the morning, and
You
I
open
go-
up the door, and it's
so
Elvis
I go,
Presley.
"What's up?" He said, "You want to go shopping? You want to go shopping with me?" And I said, "Ali," he said, "Who is that?" I says, "Elvis. You want to go take me shopping? Can I go?" Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
But tell him don't be coming at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I wouldn't even ask. I'd just go.
It was amazing.
I was going to say, did they open the store for him
They
at 3
opened
a.m.?
Yeah, they had trucks leading to the store. The stores were closed.
Yeah, I was going to say,
And they
even though I don't
opened
think
it
they're
up
open
and
at 3 a.m.
channeled him to. We went all over the place, and
And what'd you buy?
we had shopping carts full of clothes and stuff we needed for the hotel, everything. And I said, "You sure you got everything you need?"
I love that story.
Yeah, and he also gave me a necklace that said TCB. Take care of business. It's made out of a gold cloud with the lightning bolt going through it.
Oh, wow. How
Yeah,
nice.
He would give it to a lot of his friends.
Okay.
Wonderful guy, just as sweet as he can be, just like a teddy bear. Just,
Aw.
come on, you want to go? Just like a little kid.
So
Married to
you're
the
saying
king.
you would have left Muhammad for Elvis?
I don't know.
Better not?
Hell yeah, sure.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, you're nuts. Who would leave a husband for Elvis Presley?
Okay. Well, but Muhammad was pretty hot, too.
He was so sweet. Muhammad was hot. Yeah, you know.
pretty face there.
It always looks green on the other side. But he was just probably would have married Frank Sinatra.
Oh, you like Frank Sinatra
I
the best
love
out of
Frank.
those three?
Yeah, best out of
That
those.
would have been-
I'd pick
Really?
Frank.
No, I would not have picked Frank.
Oh, Blue Eyes, chairman of the board all the way through.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
Tops.
Any stories about you and Frank?
I wish I. Oh, he rubbed my face with his hand. He says, "You have a beautiful skin."
Ah.
He did ask Muhammad, could he do it first? And
I mean, I would do.
and I'm going, I'm not going to
Jab
wash
off
my
your
face
head,
for
baby.
a month.
Oh,
To shore.
you must have had fun.
And I did. I did. Yeah. It was a great life.
Yeah.
Very good journey being married to Muhammad because he attracted everybody. And
Right.
anybody who was anybody loved them. And just for them to be drawn to him, I get to meet them. So, hello.
Well, I did read an article from the HuffPost that said where you were quoted as saying that when your marriage to Muhammad was the best time of your life.
Best time of my life.
Yeah.
He kind of became more of an adulterer after that. So, you know, you can only take so much. And
Sure.
then when you start embarrassing your family, you know, in public with the women and everything, It wasn't. If I love you, I'm not going to let you do that to me and my family. I think people change when they get rich and famous. Sometimes people change.
Sure.
And
Well, he was being approached by a lot of women.
I mean, every woman
Everybody.
in the world, and I know
That must have driven you crazy.
No, it didn't.
No?
Because I expected that coming from him and where he was going and where I wanted him to be.
Yeah.
That was all good for me because that's to be expected.
But I imagine with that kind of fame and
you know
people
what? There's
approaching
no
him all over the
excuse
place.
for to be just
Trying to help
there's-
him.
No, yeah, it's okay. You can support him. There's no, I feel there's no excuse for being disrespectful. There's no
Yeah.
excuse. If a man's gonna fool around, I have no problem with that. Keep it outside the home. Don't bring it in my home. He brought it in my home.
How did he bring it in your home?
It was all over the news, all everywhere.
Wow.
It was the biggest thing ever that ever happened. And thank God it didn't happen at this time with the social media way it's gone. Oh, it would have been, oh my God. It would have been worse. It would have been worse.
Right, right.
It was bad enough being on every cover of every magazine every day in the front newspapers every single day.
Wow, that's tough.
Yeah. And it was a shock. He even introduced a president.
I read about that.
One of the girlfriends he introduced her as his wife, and I'm married to him. That was like
That was in the
who
Philippines.
does
That was in the Philippines, right?
Philippines.
Okay, what? He was there for a fight, right?
I said, man, you know what? This
Okay,
is-
now I read that you saw that on TV. You saw him introduce his girlfriend to the president
No,
of
I
the Philippines.
didn't. I saw it in the newspaper.
Saw it in the newspaper. Okay,
And I called him. I said, what's going on? He says, I didn't do that.
I didn't do that.
He says, why don't you just come down here and I'll show it, prove it to you. I'll fly you down here. And I went. And what was he thinking? Is he
What
on
happened when you
something?
got there?
The same thing that was in the newspaper. I don't believe.
Maybe he thought he could clean things up before you got
I
there.
don't think Ali read the newspapers. And I thought the guy was on something. I really did. That was for him.
So you flew down there and you walked
He
right into it?
invited me to come down there. Come on already. How you gonna invite me in? And I walk in the hotel when once they saw me, they saw the real wife.
Uh-oh.
And oh man, everything just went outrageous.
I bet that was quite a tabloid story.
And you know what? Through all of it, I had nothing. I didn't say anything negative about him.
About him.
Not once.
I respect
I
that.
kept-
So, did you confront the woman when you were there?
No, they kept her from me. She would have died. She wouldn't have lived. It would have been on TV, snapped. You know what I mean?
Snapped.
She wouldn't have lived. Nah.
Oh, boy.
They knew not to do that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be good. Because I knew the girl he was going with. I already knew that.
You knew he was okay.
I knew
it was just that
he never kept nothing secret.
It said he introduced her to the president.
That was something he didn't discuss with me. You know
How did he introduce her?
I guess he figured he way over there. It's not going to
Yeah,
get over
you
there.
won't know.
Duh.
So he introduced her as his wife?
As his wife.
Oh, my.
Yes, and I'm married to him, being on the cover of a magazine with our kids. Greatest. But you know what? I'm here. He's not. So there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I read about that. You said there were going to be a lot of illegitimate children
A lot
going
of-
after his estate.
Exactly.
Now, were there actually illegitimate children, or were people just claiming that there
No,
were
they
to
were
try
just
to
claiming. Yeah, I knew all the illegitimate children. I knew them all.
get? Okay, did
Yeah.
any of them go after his estate? I suppose.
Yeah, they did that a long time ago. Yep.
While
He
you
said
were
she's
married?
going to give a paternity suit. I said, well, who is she?
Wow.
And he told me who she was. And it protected her.
Did you ever?
I protected.
Did you ever punch?
Nah, they're not worth it.
No, I'm talking about Muhammad.
No, not for that reason. No.
No, for other reasons.
Yeah, for other reasons.
Well, was he a funny guy? He seemed to be.
Oh, he was so funny.
But you were
think
here in
it's-
Miami way back in.
I was in Miami Beach.
Okay, and
No,
You
I
didn't
wasn't
live
back
in-
that far. No.
okay, you just lived in the Fontainebleau.
Yeah.
just
yeah,
lived in the Fontainebleau.
Just lived in the Fontainebleau. It's wonderful.
Gosh,
I
that
have my
was-
own private key now.
I saw
I
that
can-
when
yeah.
I was drinking a little wine with. I
could-
was
I
drinking
could've
wine.
gotten a
Kalila
room.
wasn't last week
I
at
had
the
a
Fontainebleau.
wonderful time.
She showed me a little key
Yeah.
that she can stay
Yeah.
at the Fontainebleau
Yeah, I
anytime
carry it with-
she wants.
I carry it with me everywhere. Yeah, the management of the Fontainebleau gave me. See, there's a picture of Frank Sinatra and Elvis Presley right on. Yeah.
Yep.
Right on the cover there. Let me see what's happening here. See, this was the legend continues. This is from the 50th anniversary.
So they invited you to the 50th anniversary
I
of the
did.
Fountain Blue.
Yeah, a Fontainebleau,
and they
and
gave you this card.
Yeah.
So you can stay there whenever you want.
Anytime, if I
Why
want
don't
to
you just
stay
move
there,
back in and
I
live
just
there?
might as well. They just plug it in and give me a room.
Oh, how nice.
I love it.
How nice. Well,
You know what? Did you know there was a man who actually knocked out Muhammad Ali?
no. When?
Yeah. I saw it happen.
Well, do tell.
His name-
Somebody punched out Muhammad Ali?
Yeah, his name
Who
is Levi Forte.
Levi Forte.
And they was just sparring, and Levi hit him and clipped him and went down. And Ali got up and go, what?
Were they actually having a match, or they were just...
No, they were just sparring and having fun. And Levi loves Ali, and he's a big teddy bear, big kind of teddy bear guy. I really saw. Matter of fact, he worked at the Fontainebleau for 40 years. A matter of fact, when we was at the NatPay.
Yes, we were at the National Association of Television and Production Executives, something like that,
yeah.
down in Miami Beach. That's where I was with Kalia last
Yeah.
week. But I already had you booked for this week before that. I just ran into you there.
Yeah, you was.
I was like, Kalia, what are you...
She turned around and it was Becky. It was so
was
beautiful.
like, Kalia?
You know how great it felt to see somebody you know?
I know. There were thousands of people at that party.
Oh,
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was at the pool area of the Fontainebleau.
unbelievable.
Oh, while we were drinking wine, I was drinking wine. You weren't at the Fontainebleau. You told me something else, that you slept in Michael Jackson's bed, right?
Yeah, I
With
did.
Michael Jackson,
Not
right?
with Michael Jackson. See, she's trying to get me on the tabloids.